You've probably heard multiple terms describing product defense. You might have heard of threat assessment, malicious contamination, malicious theft. You might have heard food defense or product defense, or you've heard the term TACCIP or threat assessment, critical control points. All of these terms are essentially talking about the same thing. And in the BRC standards, they're talking about defending your product from malicious action. All right, now it's not only about protecting your product, it's also about protecting your premises and your brand. And so what BRC says is, if you follow our standards, if you do thorough risk assessments, and obviously wherever you identify a risk, you're going to mitigate that risk using control measures, right? Then you essentially will be protecting your business and your reputation as well. That's what they mean by brand. Don't forget that BRCGS now stands for Brand Reputation Through Compliance Global Standards, right? So following a sensible standard like the BRC GFSI standards will protect your business, your reputation, protects you from things going wrong and, stories ending up in the media, having to take on the cost of recalls and things like that, right? And obviously protecting your business from theft as well, or shutdown from somebody doing something malicious to your products or something malicious on your site. So this overall topic requires that risk assessment that I mentioned. And don't forget that your team or your people involved in doing that risk assessment absolutely need to be competent, all right? The standards emphasize competency. All right, how you get that competency is up to you. If it's a legal requirement in your country to have specific food defense training, then that will be required. Okay, and for example, that's the case in the US, not in the UK or Europe. Obviously, training is a sensible way of gaining competency, but however you choose to do it is entirely up to you. Now, when it comes to protecting your business, protecting your brands, protecting your products, clearly a comprehensive risk assessment needs to be done, and you can focus that by using your flow chart from your product defense plan. Whether you call that HACCP or HARA is up to you, or you might have a different risk assessment methodology that you've used, but use the flow diagram to cover all the steps involved to show that you have thought about all possible risks at those steps. Now, clearly, HACCP or HARA is done by focusing within your business. It starts with intake through to dispatch typically, all right? So clearly you're focusing on any malicious activity that could take place within your business. What about external threats? Visitors, contractors, drivers needing to come into your site for any reason. What about those external threats to your business? They also need to be accommodated. Where you document this, whether you document all of these risks in your HACCP or your HARA, whether you document it in a separate risk assessment, auditors don't mind, as long as you have comprehensively risk assessed threats to your business and effectively mitigated those risks. All right. Now, there's one more thing that BRC doesn't ask you to do. They don't ask you to protect your people, because the scope of the BRC standards are all about your product. All right. So they're never going to include your people necessarily. However, in real life, it is obviously also about your people. So by all means, think about your staff and include that in your risk assessment to make it a comprehensive risk assessment for your business. All right, that's simply out of the scope of the BRC standards, which is why they don't include that. They specifically ask you to focus on your product, your premises, your brand. All right, by all means, in real life, go ahead and include your people as well. All right, so if you need any further clarification, if you've got any questions, you can attend our STC TACCIP course or the BRC courses that we offer, the various ones that we offer, focusing on the various BRC standards. Or if you need consultancy support, don't hesitate to get in touch there as well. All right, thank you so much. Take care.